I fixed it, no worries. And we are live. All right, so we play an intro, we play an outro. I do a little banter back and forth with Stacy. We'll record locally. This will go out on Facebook, YouTube, and then we'll also have an audio-only version. Cool?
Okay.
Wait a tick. I got to change something here. Wait a tick. All right, here comes the intro. Silence. Always takes a second for some reason. You're listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Grow Clinton is a 501c6 nonprofit economic community development and tourism organization based in Clinton, Iowa. For more information, visit growclinton.com. Again, that's growclinton.com. Now, back to the show. What's happening, all you beautiful listeners out there in podcast land? Welcome back to another episode of the one, the only, the greatest podcast on the planet Earth. That's right, folks, the Grow Clinton podcast brought to you, by Grow Clinton, a nonprofit organization located in Clinton, Iowa, on the eastern part of the great state of Iowa, right along the mighty Mississippi River, where we focus on economic, community development, and tourism. As always, I'm your host, Andy Sokolovich, president of Grow Clinton, joined in the studio today by Stacy Borgeson, our Director of Workforce Development and Talent Attraction. Stacy, what's happening?
Good morning. This is my second debut of the day for little radio.
No, this is a podcast,
it's
much
a podcast.
better than radio.
Well,
No,
okay. I had a microphone in front of my mouth earlier today, too. So.
Yeah. Well, aren't you popular? Aren't you popular?
Busy day.
It is a busy day. You know what I love about today? High-speed fiber internet. That's right, Stacy. Thanks for answering. Miles Communication. Make sure that we have wicked fast, high-speed internet here on the Grow Clinton podcast. Check them out online at milestelephone.com. Again, milestelephone.com. If they're not in your neck of the woods, they are on their way. Fast, high-speed fiber internet that's reliable and there when you need it most. milestelephone.com. Great show today, Stacy.
Yes. Two guests today. We have in the Stu studio, representing Home Base Iowa and Iowa Workforce Development, Mr. James Stout and Shane Sawyer. Welcome so much. Welcome to the podcast. We love having you in the house. What's happening?
Hey, not much. We're just happy to be here and talk about some events coming up.
Yeah. Shane?
Hi, how you doing? I'm losing my voice. So
Shane's losing his voice. So you guys represent Home Base Iowa. Tell me a little bit about the program, what it means for the state of Iowa, the gist of the whole thing, how it helps employers connect with those qualified and skilled veterans that are transitioning out of the service or maybe part of the Guard or Reserve components, and then what we're going to be talking about today regarding the 2025 Quad Cities Success Fair.
You know, I love what I do. You know, I always like to start that because of the program Home Base Iowa. So Iowa is the only state with this type of program. And what we do is with Home Base Iowa, we try to attract veterans and those active duty soldiers when they're coming out of the military, you know, to get them employment. But not only that, each of the counties have incentives and stuff like that, but not, and also the state. And we talked about this before. You know, we have a $5,000 incentive, you know, to help them relocate. That's for their down payment. That's not money in their hand. That's helped with the down payment and stuff.
Yeah, for the closing costs for a house.
Correct.
Their first home in the state of Iowa.
And then there some of the counties and or communities have different incentives. It just depends on where you go.
Sure.
I like to brag about Clinton a lot because, of course.
Well, you better because you're in our studio.
Well, you know, Plus, I've known you for a long time. I ain't going to admit that, but I guess I'll say that right now. But, you know.
Your beard was less robust back then.
Yeah, it's platinum now. It's showing that time that we've known each other.
Silvery.
It is. But you know what? The advantage for the employers, too. You know, we always talk about the employers. We talk about the needs for the state itself. But these employers, they're getting skilled labor. So when that transitioning service member comes out or that veteran coming out from another state, they bring a unique set of skills. Number one, they don't need management. They have those skills that they can do the job. And then with the programs that we have, we can get them in there like SkillBridge. That's another thing. So a lot of our employers here, especially in Clinton, we have different SkillBridge programs. So that helps them get that needed experience, and then that employer can help turn that around and they can hire them. And that's a valuable tool for them.
Yeah. So Shane, how many veterans, if you know off the top of your head, I'm going to put you on the spot,
Oh, goodness, math.
transition out of the service every single year seeking an opportunity for employment as a civilian?
All of them.
Yeah, all of them. I don't know the answer to that question.
I don't know the answer.
So you're going to give me the Air Force answer, which is I don't know, but I'm going to find out and I'll get back to you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so there's thousands, right? So
Plenty.
Home Base Iowa is a very unique program, obviously, to the state of Iowa. We focus on capturing the skills of those transitioning service members, men and women, coming out of the service and attempt to recruit them or relocate them to this great state of Iowa. And we offer a bunch of incentives to do so. So tell us a little bit about how this program has matured and advanced through the Department of Iowa Workforce Development.
That's
Anybody? Bueller.
Bueller, let's do this. So, the thing is that with IowaWORKS.gov, and then we have IowaWORKS for veterans. So that's a specific website. So years ago, we used to have homebaseiowa.gov. Now that website is still there. But we're adapting it. We're trying to improve it so it's included with IowaWORKS for veterans. So basically, they go there. They can see what each of the counties have available and what employers are part of, like Home Base Iowa Employer.
Sure.
Also, there is what's called CHAMPS. Those are schools throughout the state of Iowa that are specifically have areas where a soldier, a veteran, can go, they can chill out, they can have study groups and stuff like that. And that's the same way with the businesses. To be a Home Base Iowa employer, and it is on our site, they have to have certain things set up. They have to have like a veteran group that, as if you were walking in the door, Andy, and you were starting that new cashier position that you always wanted. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. So there would be a group of people that would sit there and talk to you as you came in, help you with your orientation. But not only that, you know how when we transition out of the military, there is a transition period of the way we think and stuff like that. So why not get with somebody that has gone through that process, gone through all the little bumps and everything else like that, and then help you get that and transition a little bit quicker.
Sure. So not only are you connecting somebody with a place of employment so they can earn a paycheck and support their family, but you're also helping them during the transition period where you definitely have to transition your mindset into that of a civilian, which is not always easy to do. So Shane, what exactly do you do within Iowa Workforce Development to help veterans transition?
So I am the veteran career planner, and I've often said leaving the military was like losing your tribe, losing your sense of purpose, and in doing so, you felt like you lost that identity a little bit. So to that transition a little bit further, as a veteran career planner, I'm more than just helping you with your resume, more than just interviewing skills or connecting you with employers, which is all things that we do. But I also want to be that conduit of resources for the veteran community. Job ready isn't the absence of a job, no more than mission ready was the absence of a mission for us in the military. Everything that had to come to make me job ready now for anyone is a balance of all things. And my goal is to help them find that balance, but also help them find that passionate pursuit so that they, I know it sounds kind of a little flowery, but it's true. It truly is true. I want them to connect with something that they're going to enjoy, that they're going to find a bit of purpose in, so that they will stay employed in Iowa. We want to, through Home Base Iowa, through our programs, attract veteran talent and retain veteran talent in Iowa. And
Sure.
That's what we do.
What many people don't understand, especially civilians, when you transition out of the service, your home of record is notified that you were leaving the military. So for me, that was Reading, Pennsylvania. So Reading, Pennsylvania was told that Sergeant Sokolovich is leaving the United States Air Force and he's coming back who knows where. Maybe not my home of record, but that's where they get notified. But when you transition out of the military and you go somewhere else, like for me, Clinton, Iowa, They didn't know I was coming here. Nobody was notified that there was a veteran transition into the community of Clinton. So, it's also incumbent upon the veteran to reach out to your veteran service officers and those folks that work for the county. But what's really cool about Home Base Iowa, I feel, is the opportunity to connect that veteran with a well-paying, high-quality job, leveraging the skills that they have received during their time in service. And he talked about CHAMP schools. I know Eastern Iowa Community College does this, where they actually will review your training that you received in the military, which for us Air Force guys, I'm sure it's the same in the Army. We receive some college credits based on our promotion rates, and then also our Air Force specialty code and how we continue to grow within that AFSC. So for me, it was, air traffic control, for instance, and my degree was in airway science. So when I walked into community college, they were able to apply some of those credits earned towards a traditional degree, either moving towards a 4-year degree at a major school, or online college, or just continuing to get your associates. So Home Base Iowa here in Clinton County offers several different incentives for those veterans that qualify. Stacy is the subject matter expert at Grow Clinton on Home Base Iowa.
Absolutely.
So Stacy, what incentives do we offer here in Clinton County?
So we have incentives as far as closing costs, so it's $1,500, and that check comes from the county. And also, if you're driving into the area and need a hotel or lodging or food or anything like that, there is a reimbursement for interview process if you do accept that position.
Per diem expense. So we were an early adopter of the Home Base Iowa program, working with then Jason Kemp way back in the day. I don't know if he's still around the state or what he's doing these days, but he's a good dude. And we became a Home Base Iowa community, Clinton County, in I believe 2016. So very early adopter, because I believe the program was launched in 2016. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Yeah. So again, to what Stacy just said, if you're a transition veteran, you're coming to Clinton County, you're buying your first home in Clinton County, we will offer you an honor if you qualify by presenting your DD Form 214, which is your proof of military service, to the county auditor's office, a $1,500 home closing cost reimbursement. So after you close on your home, you bring back the sale paperwork, you take it to the auditor's office, you show your DD-214, you show proof that you've purchased a residence in Clinton County. They then take that to the Board of Supervisors for a fancy resolution, and then they cut you a check for $1,500. Also, if you incur any expenses coming here to interview with a Clinton-based employer, and you get the job, we will cover some of your per diem expenses to include lodging and going out and having something nice to eat the night before. We just need proof of those expenses. And again, the auditor cuts those checks. So we're very proud of our Home Base Iowa program. One thing that we do differently in this county that other communities do not do is we track the assessed value and the purchase value of the home that you have bought in Clinton County, as well as we track the assessed taxes associated with that property. And we maintain that all on a spreadsheet, and it really shows the economic impact of what it means to recruit a veteran to our community to support the workforce demands of our regional employers, but also from a property tax standpoint, what it means for us as both taxing entities at the county and the municipality.
I want to throw one more thing in there about the cost. For people to come to an interview and stuff like that, I should have mentioned this before, or looking for housing and stuff like that. So we are also partnered with Hilton Honors, and that's a great program because if you're stressed about, I have to go to an interview, but I'm coming from California or New York or Missouri, whatever, and I need to stay overnight, and because I'm going to be interviewing, for Grow Clinton for a position. So there is a Hilton Honor program that you send in your information. We get you signed up. You create an account. And then with that account, you're given points. Those points can cover your stay while you're here for an interview. But here's another thing. Now you got the job and you're using the Clinton incentives and stuff like that. But also, I need to find a house and I need a few days. And my family's with me. And I kind of got an idea. And so Hilton Honors, with your points, you can also use those to stay at a hotel while you're transitioning from that move and getting into your new place, and that's also takes that stress because when you're transitioning and stuff like that, the easier it is for you with all the different incentives and different programs and stuff like that, it just makes things a little bit easier.
Sure. Shane, are you aware of the Iowa Finance Authority's program called the Military Homeownership? What is it called? Military Homeownership
Oh, is it the
something program. It's really cool. Are you familiar with this?
slightly,
I'm the
barely.
subject matter expert.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you what it's all
Why
about.
don't you tell me more?
He's
IBMF.
yanking the Air Force chain.
Yeah,
on
Yeah,
that.
so the Military Homeownership Assistance Program is what it's referred to as. It's through the Iowa Finance Authority. If you are a veteran, regardless if you were a Vietnam veteran, you were Iraqi freedom, enduring freedom, Gulf War, whatever, as long as you qualify and you have a DD-214 with either an honorable or a medical discharge from the United States Armed Services, you can receive up to $7,500 of closing cost assistance. Now, it's $5,000 based on your income. If you're below a certain level, you can qualify for the $7,500. But the $5,000 is available for you, and you receive that prior to closing, and that goes directly towards the balance owed on your mortgage. So it's a very cool thing. I took advantage of it. I actually delayed the purchase of my home until after 1 July when the funds were reappropriated. The downside is, and this is my ding on the legislative body every single year, is if you are appropriating a program at what you feel is comfortable, but every year within the first, let's give them some grace. Within the first half of that fiscal year, you no longer have any money in that fund because you've used it all. That tells you it's what?
Needed.
It's working,
Good
right?
program.
It's working. It's working.
needed.
That means veterans are relocating to the state of Iowa.
Absolutely.
We are applying that benefit. So my pitch always to senators, representatives, the governor, whomever will listen, is appropriate that fund more aggressively, because what you're doing is you're basically cutting off the opportunity for veterans to the duration of the year, an additional 6 months. So to me, that's not cool. So we need to make sure that fund continues to be appropriated even more so because it is an effective program. And I love it. So yeah, like I said, I pushed the closing of my home till after 1 July. We actually closed on July 3rd. That $5,000 was automatically applied to my closing, especially if you're using a VA loan and you don't require any money up front for a down payment. That goes directly to the principal of your mortgage. That's a huge cost saving when you factor in interest. So again, that's through the Iowa Finance Authority. Now, at one time, the Iowa Finance Authority required that the lending agency, the holder of the mortgage, was a Iowa Finance Authority approved lender, which if you look on their website, there's only one here in Clinton.
Correct.
And, they do some residential mortgages, but not a lot. So I believe the Iowa Finance Authority has made an amendment to that requirement and basically said, as long as you meet these criteria, you don't necessarily need to be an official Iowa Finance Authority approved lender, but as long as your loan has X, Y, and Z, you do qualify, and that veteran can receive that benefit of $5,000. So it's a really cool program, and really the integration with Homebase Iowa and the employers is what I value the most. It's an easy sell. I have yet to meet an employer that's like, come work for me.
Right.
I'm sure you guys feel the same way, right?
Hey, but just putting you on a spot, how many
Yeah.
now have come to Clinton County? What are we up to right now? Because
That's what I was waiting to say. I think we're right about 75
Okay.
since the inception of the program itself. We get notified of those pretty much monthly once the check's been cut to the veteran. For that, I know probably the last 3 weeks, there's been one on the agenda to go ahead and approve.
Yeah.
So I think we're right around 75, which is great.
Yeah,
So,
and it's important that the realtors,
yeah.
the mortgage lenders, anybody that's involved as like the meet and greet for the people that come to the community for the first time, our office, is aware of this program, because what I hate when I bump into a veteran, whether it's at our quarterly Veteran Network events, and I mention Homebase Iowa, and they say, "Oh, I just bought a home. I didn't
yeah,
know
I
that."
hear that a lot.
Yep.
Now, that eliminates that $5,000. They don't qualify because they've already closed. However, within 1 year of relocating to the community, you can still take advantage of the $1,500 savings through Clinton County. And I am going to be approaching the county soon because I want to see that number doubled.
I like it.
I think we can get by with $3,000. So that's a sufficient amount of money, and I feel it's justly deserved. and we've proven that the program works. And money talks.
Yep.
And if we're going to attract veterans to our community, I mean, Iowa's tough too because we don't have an active duty military base.
No.
So, I mean, it's not like we're Texas or California or Washington State where there's veteran. I mean, when I was stationed down in Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico, but for active duty military veterans and spouses, that town would not exist. Right. But we're not like that here in Iowa. We don't have an active duty military base. We have Camp Dodge, which is great and does some amazing things. But those individuals there are National Guard, either Air or Army.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool program. I'm so glad that Clinton kind of leads the pack in the promotion of Home Base Iowa. We try to get the information out there to everybody we possibly can, but it's a great incentive. So tell me more about the 2025 Quad Cities Success Fair. What is it? When is it? Where is it? And why is it important to attend?
Holy cow. You know, this is our 9th year. I'm so stoked about this because, like I said, it's the 9th year. And just the history of it, we originally started over on Brady Street out of the Iowa National Guard Armory. Now, if you've ever been there, it's a very small armory.
Familiar. Very small.
No AC.
Ooh, that's
And
tough.
so in August of
Not a
9
good
years ago,
You Army guys are used to that
yeah,
stuff.
we are. We're a
Not
lot
Air
tougher
Force.
than those
No,
Air Force
no,
guys.
no.
I will
You know, we
not
have to actually
battle
work.
without air conditioning.
Yeah, you know.
Room service.
That's right. But so imagine we had 40 employers in there. We had to crack the garage door open. And then we had 2 humongous fans going, and it still wasn't good enough. But every year, you know, we learned our lessons. We've improved every single year. It's been an amazing journey. It really has. And our last year, just to go, the 8th year of it, we were at North Park, which, you know, 320 West Kimberly Road. And so we were at the end of the mall. And it was an amazing event because we were at St. Ambrose for years.
Mm-hmm.
And we've
that.
always had a large employer turnout of 80 at least employers. And the people have been there and they participated. COVID hit, and then you see attendance going down and stuff like that. Also, you see the employer kind of shrink down a little bit, but not that much. Okay, now we're progressing. We're out of that time period. And the employers, of course, are still looking for people.
Sure.
But now last year, we had over 400 job seekers that attended that event.
Tell them how many were veterans.
And 100, we had like 120, 125.
about
So this is
120.
open to veterans and non-veterans
This is
alike.
open
Absolutely.
to everybody. So when we first started this, it was veteran only. And then what I saw was I had a bunch of people sitting in line, and they were like, well, what about us? And I'm like, well, then we need to open this up to everybody. And the way that we have this and the way that the employers are engaging, I don't see at other hiring events, which is kind of cool because they're there. We're pumping them up. We're getting everybody excited, you know, getting them riled up. And that's what's great. Last year came up, we had 87 employers. And we had every employer showed up. And then all of a sudden, we're sitting at like 1 o'clock because it goes from 10 to 2. Every year it's 10 to 2, just so you know. Mm-hmm. At 1 o'clock, our operation manager at IowaWORKS in Davenport calls me up. He says, you're not going to believe this, but we're over 400 attendees.
Very nice.
You know, and I could feel the goosebumps. I was like, holy cow, I've never in my life seen that many people come. And where we were located was great. It was easy, accessible. But then I surveyed the employers. I surveyed some of the resources and the staff that helped me, which they are awesome. I can't do it without them. So we've moved it to the center of North Park Mall, right there by food court. And everybody remembers the old Yonkers. It used to be there. It's all boarded up right now. So why not utilize that space? It's wide open. We got the food court. Everything's accessible, you know, bathrooms, everything. And we started advertising. And right now, in April, when I start talking about this, I already had 40 employers knocking on my door saying they want to be part of this.
Yeah. So, James, this is coming up in like 3 weeks. If an employer is interested in participating, how do they do it?
They can get a hold of me. They can go to LinkedIn and on my profile for James Stout, and they're going to see that there is a flyer on there and my contact information. They can send me an email, and then I'll send a registration code. I can tell you this right now. We are probably 10 tables away from being the first time at this time period to be almost completely full.
Wow.
We're looking at 90 employers.
Very good. So Stacy, let's do this. Stacy can be your point of contact. Everybody knows Stacy in our office and all of our members. So if you're listening and you want your business to be represented at the 2025 Quad Cities, let's change the name though, guys. Let's call it like Eastern Iowa Success Fair or something like that.
We're going to have to. We're getting big.
You're getting big. You're growing
Yeah.
beyond just the force. This has been a point of contention for the last couple of weeks in my world.
Oh.
Like we look at us. So it's a tough pitch to call folks from Clinton like Quad Citizens. I know we're part of the larger like MSA, so the statistical area, when you take a broad look at the population, Clinton falls into it. It's like a 6-county region.
Yep.
However, people from Clinton are from Clinton, not the Quad Cities. So often, and this is just some advice, this is not criticism. You know, if this was criticism, I'd do it anyways. But
Well, yeah, you would.
I
You just-
noticed that
Well, you
we
don't
started.
have a knife hand, though.
Yeah, we've started transitioning away from just the Quad City stuff. So make it the Eastern Iowa Success Fair, because you probably will pull folks from Dubuque and maybe down to Keokuk. Who knows?
Actually, that's not a bad idea because we are attracting people from all over the state.
Yeah.
But also, we're attracting employers from like Texas, California, New York, Missouri, Wisconsin. We actually got employers from other parts of the country. And that's what's great about the Success Fair is because I don't see that in other events. So, that's actually a great idea, Eastern Iowa Success Fair.
There you go.
That is a good idea.
You heard it here
Well,
first.
you act like
Yeah,
you're surprised.
you heard it here first, folks.
Did you hear me? Acts like he's surprised that I had a good idea.
Well, you're Air Force.
My idea was to have them contact me too, so you spoke.
Yeah, so contact Stacy. Stacy, get in touch
Let
with
him know.
James. James will hook you up with a spot.
That's right.
So again, this is coming up on Wednesday, August 13th, 10 to 2 at the North Park Mall. Again, the address, if you're not familiar, 320 West Kimberly Road in Davenport. They'll be at the food court entrance, and you can check it out. You can attend as well. No cost to attend. No, just walk in. No need to register if you want to just be a job seeker to come in and check out what's available.
That's another thing about the Quad City Success Fair is that it's a free event. It's
Yeah.
always been free for 9 years. No cost to the employer, no cost to anybody attending and stuff like that. And then also I want to throw in there, remember, if you're going to attend this event, the things that you need to remember is the way you dress. Dress casually and dress for the position you're applying for. Another thing is that have your resume reviewed prior to this event, and then we're going to have different workshops set up in the next 2 weeks that you can come on into the Davenport AJC, or you can come into your library. You can go anywhere, but get prepared for this. And another thing is that think about it. When's the last time you actually had an interview?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay.
It's as long as I've been here.
Okay.
I
But
don't plan on having another one for a long time.
well, I mean, you did interview. You did send
do
me
know a guy,
invites.
so
Yeah.
We do know a guy that knows a guy that can help you out.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Appreciate that. But
But here we go. But the thing is that you can practice in front of the mirror and answer questions, stuff like that. But coming into the center, we have some great career planners in Davenport. That is their job, is to help you prepare for events like this. They can review your resume. They can also do a mock interview. So those are the things about it. And then we do have a person that comes out to Clinton. Marcus comes out here.
yep, Marcus comes out. Stacy works closely with him.
And Shane comes out here and works with the veterans once a month, and he can do more. It just depends on the crowd.
Yeah, we're always looking to help those job seekers find a place of employment. We also have what's called a career awareness program. Within our Grow Clinton website, you have the opportunity to upload your resume and contact information, and then Stacy does all the heavy lifting. She sends the information out to a robust list of employers. What is it, like 50
It's
employers?
about 50 different HR representatives from the local companies, and I've had a few recently. Actually, just got one over the weekend, and the one prior to that, I sent it out, and I actually got responses on it of how great a resume it was. And he actually showed up to the mobile unit that we had at Hy-Vee not that long ago.
Yep, that was awesome.
Right.
Just great. So, I mean, that's a pretty good success story there. So it's kind of like a little one-stop shop. You send your resume. Yes, you're probably going to have to apply for said job when they reach out and contact you, but they reach out and contact you. That's the good thing, you know.
Yeah, 50 plus employers all looking to get a hold of you, as opposed to you having to
go 50 different places
beat feet and go knock on 50 different doors. So again, that's via the Grow Clinton website, growclinton.com, and you can just navigate and find the career awareness program. One of the things I will say is a veteran transitioning out of the service, it is very difficult to take what you've learned in the United States military and apply that to a civilian red resume, because what you're going to do, I don't care who you are, you're going to do it. You're going to fill it full of acronyms because that's just that's just how you speak. You're not going to define what those acronyms mean, and you're going to send it off, and there's going to be all this speak regarding your rank and leadership schools that you go to and degrees and whatever, and deployments, and it's going to mean nothing.
Yep.
Perfect example, me. Moved here, went and applied at a big box store. It was a retail type job. Was told I was not qualified because I'd never had retail experience. In my mind, I was grossly overqualified for the position, given my career and the amount of years I had in the uniform. So, but that was a swift kick to the gut, realizing that the person reviewing my resume was like 20-something and had no idea about military service. And I wrote my resume in the way that I would want to read it and not how a job or a person hiring, a hiring authority would want to read it. So make sure you get it looked at. Again, it's always a good opportunity to get it reviewed by somebody at IowaWORKS.
I'd like to tag in on that if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always tell job seekers, tailor your resume to the job description. One resume does not rule them all. You know, you have very specific skills, so use their words to describe what you have. You're not lying about your you know, we never want that. But if you want to apply to be a firefighter and it says I've seen a red fire truck and I've petted a Dalmatian, and those are requirements. I'm so sorry, firefighters. That's all I got.
Oh man!
But maybe you've petted 6 Dalmatians. So quantify how many Dalmatians did you pet? How many firefighters or fire trucks have you seen? You know, quantify that resume with their words to describe what you've already got.
Yeah. Well, now with the introduction of artificial intelligence, it's smart. It's smart to take the company's mission statement, core values, job description, throw that all in the Chat GPT, find out some of the keywords, pull out of that. Don't just simply cut and paste.
Don't do that.
But with caution, right?
Yeah, leverage that tool because it does pull out things that employers are looking for. And I know if I'm reading a resume and I'm hiring for a position specifically, let's just say it's a marketing position, I'm going to be looking for somebody with experience in social media, web development, understands marketing strategy, branding strategy, understands how to use keywords and search engine optimization and all those types of things where I don't want to do it. That's why I'm hiring for the position to fill that void. So impress me. Tell me what you got, but it better be factual.
And do your research.
Yeah,
you know, if you have a specific position you're going for, or a specific company that you really want to work for, do your research. You know, when you get to that interview point, let them know that you know about their company. You know, you've done your research, you know the history, or you know, maybe people that work there, you know, and heard great stories and different things like that.
I listen to podcasts every morning when I walk my dogs, and the one I was listening to today talked about a radical question that this certain employer asks at the end of every interview. And the end of every interview, she sits back in her chair and she asks the interviewee, what should I have asked in this interview process that I didn't? And then she pauses. And 9 times out of 10, somebody will say, oh, you asked everything that you needed to. And even when they say that, she doesn't respond. She just stares at them until they can come up with something. And it allows them to take control, really, of the conversation and think deeply about the whole interview process and what they wish they could have said, given the fact that they weren't asked a specific question, and then relate that to the employer. And that just shows signs of creativity. It shows signs of curiosity about the employer. And it also gives you an opportunity to toot your own horn and share something that maybe was not revealed during the interview process. But I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, like you have something really good to say. Like, I got a good answer for said question that was never asked to me.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of interviews now, especially the employers, depending on how many resumes they receive, may use a virtual way of eliminating some of
Weeding
those
them out.
folks. So they just put them through a system, something scans them, looks for keywords, looks for certain experience, eliminates the one that don't qualify. So you may never actually have a physical person look at your resume, which is kind of scary.
until the day of your interview.
You're right.
That's
So-
correct.
Yeah.
all right, gentlemen, I got one more thing I'm going to ask of you.
No.
I
can't do
love
push-ups
home
either.
base Iowa. I love it. I think it's great. I think it sets the state of Iowa apart.
Yes.
I feel like it's a very robust and attractive program. The incentives are amazing. However, what I really would like to see the state of Iowa do is adopt a tiered, structured program regarding property taxes and the elimination of property taxes for veteran based on their level of service-connected disability. Our neighboring states are doing it. North, south, east, west. It just makes sense. So in the state of Iowa, now they increased the overall value of the reduction of our assessed value of our property. I think it's like, I don't know what it is now. It used to be like $1,876, something like that. Now it's like 4,000 something. However, it's 100% or bust.
Yes.
Correct.
So if you're 100% service connected disabled, which is hard to achieve, and many that receive that 100%, they deserve it. No doubt about it, they deserve it. Many of them have a level of disability that actually prevents them from working. That's why they are 100% service connected. However, some of our neighboring states, let's say you're 60%, you'll fall within a specific tier. Based on your percentage of service-connected disability, you will receive X number of reduction in value from your property taxes. I just think that's more of an attractive program than just 100% or
All or
bust.
nothing,
Because I feel like if that would pair with Home Base Iowa and the incentives that the communities are offering, we'd really be able to put our money where our mouth is and make a very aggressive and more attractive attempt at recruiting veterans to the state. Because, state of Iowa, 3.2 million people. I do say, and I stand by this, it's not necessarily a workforce problem. I mean, there's not too many skilled people out there twiddling their thumbs going, I just wish somebody would hire me, because they're probably already working. It's a people problem. I mean, we have employers that are growing and requiring new skills and more folks and different types of education pathways. And in a state with 3.2, especially with all that population really concentrated in Polk County and the surrounding areas, it makes it difficult to attract folks to some of the rural parts, especially the eastern half of the state and the western half of the state as well. But if we were able to tweak our veteran incentives a little bit, specifically those focused on service-connected disability and property tax, I think we'd be hitting a home run.
Absolutely. And the thing is, when you said that, I believe there is something up there, and they're working on it.
Yeah.
I think we talked about before. There is something that they want to present. They want to vote on it. They want to dissect it a little bit and see how that would work on how the percentage would be. If you're 50%, then there's that 50%. If you're 70%, 70%, and go from those tiers.
Yeah, you would have to do some due diligence to find out
You'd
what
have
the
to
impact
really
was.
look at the costs and stuff like that. Is it actually worth it? And every little bit is worth it. Don't get me wrong. But for the Home Base Iowa program, the more incentives we have as a state and stuff like that we can use is just advantages when we go out to other states, or if I'm talking to a soldier like in Italy. I actually had a conversation with a guy that was relocating back, and they really did their homework. They here's the properties. So we looked at Zillow, we looked at the Beacon, and we looked at all these different things. Well, I'm looking at being 60%. So, is there something for that? Well, currently, no, there isn't. We're working on it, and that's basically, from our standpoint, we can see that there's stuff going on.
Well, squeaky wheel gets the grease, and I'm going
true.
to be out there with my grease gun squeaking all day long about this, because I really do feel like Home Base Iowa as a set aside program for veteran relocation incentives is amazing, but we need to make it's got to be a little bit more robust and a little bit more attractive. And even our programs here locally in Clinton County, if I'm talking to a veteran that specifically found a job in Iowa and Clinton County, it's icing on the cake.
Right.
But to go to somebody who's from California, separating out of Florida or something like that to say, come to Iowa and I'll give you $1,500 on a home closing cost reimbursement. You can save $5,000 through the Iowa Finance Authority's Military Homeownership Assistance Program. And that's good, but it could be better. So that's why I really feel like we need to step it up a little bit.
Well, I think our communities can help us as well, too. When you think about the incentives for any of these communities in Iowa, even Clinton, but this will be kind of a call to action, if you will. It's not just the money you're getting off on a house. If you own a bowling alley, if you own a coffee shop, and you want to, if you feel led to, show appreciation for the veteran community, you can chip in as well and say, you know what, every third coffee's free, or every whatever it is you want to do. I think our local YMCA in the Muscatine area was allowing the first year's membership free. And it's little things that little community businesses or even the big companies can even get in touch with. Home Base Iowa can get in touch with yourself and add that to the list. When a veteran goes on Home Base Iowa, they can look at their communities and see what incentives are offered.
Sure.
And we're redoing the website right now, which is kind of cool because we needed to do that. We needed to revamp it and stuff like that. You know, you and I have had conversations before about homebaseiowa.gov and stuff like that, and the accessibility and how we can make this stuff easier. But when we're talking about the incentives just now, another thing that I've been talking with in my area is incentive packages of a welcome kit. You know, when you walk in, another thing is that I've seen Muscatine do it. I've seen some other counties do it to where they have a welcome kit. So they come in and the county representative or the community representative will schedule a time with them and say, hey, welcome to our community. And by the way, here's a map of the city or a map of the county. Here's some resources available. Oh, and by the way, have you gone down to the Memorial Parkway or Veterans Memorial and stuff like that? You know, it just shows how much that community is involved. And some of the things, like when I'm talking to all these communities and all these counties that I work with, you know, there's, 19, 20, 30 counties. And they're like, well, we don't have that much. But what you do is that you welcome them in. And the employers are saying, well, shoot, we want to do something. One thing was suggested about a veterans card. That could be inclusive to the state of Iowa, or it could be inclusive to that county. And they just show that and they say, okay, well, I see that. And you got it from your county representative. And they say, okay, well, you get a 10% discount because you have a veterans card. Yeah. And those are the little things right there that, believe it or not, I mean, those count.
It makes a difference. And
it
that's
does.
Why we're always trying to get creative here. At Grow Clinton, we do a lot of community tours. So specifically with Mercy One Hospital here in town, whenever they're interviewing a new provider to come in, we dedicate a member of our staff in a couple hours to go and pick up whomever, their spouse too, and put them in our vehicles, and we just drive them around all the nooks and crannies of the city of Clinton so they get a chance to see what the community is really about. So that's a lot of good things going on. Home Base Iowa, again, Veteran Success Fair coming up. Eastern Iowa Success Fair is what I'm going to call it. Wednesday, August 13th, 10 to 2, North Park Mall. Be sure to check it out. Again, if you're an employer and you want to get a hold of somebody to get your location confirmed within the North Park Mall, set up your items or your table, give away your tchotchkes, recruit people to come and work for you. Stacy Borgeson will be your point of contact in our office, and then she'll get you in touch with James. Stacy, you got a busy week coming up? What's today, Monday?
Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday.
Feels like a Monday.
I think we got a value
Typical Air
visit
Force.
tomorrow, Jenny and I. Not a whole lot, actually. I'm gonna get I have my career fair coming up in September, so I'm gonna get that sent out and get my people signed up for that too.
All right. Well, James, Shane, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
We'll make sure to edit out James the best we can, and then we'll continue
Make
to
my
move
voice
forward.
sound cooler.
There you go. All right, everybody, thank you for listening to another episode of the Grow Clinton podcast. As always, I've been your host, Andy Sokolovich of Grow Clinton. Until we talk next time, stay classy, folks.
Thank you for listening to the Grow Clinton